Fly, Eagles, fly. Come on, Tony. On the road to
Vic.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
On blue, ready?
Don Coryell.
Touchdown, San Diego! Woo!
Mike, I'm not going to
up?
lie to you right now. I thought you were going to do the spelling chant. I thought you were going to spell where they're like E. And I was like, I can't spell Eagles. What are you doing? What's happening? I need autocorrect. Don't do that. And then you started singing and I was like, whew, I know this one.
This was pretty
I was
easy.
nervous.
Oh, man. On the
You
road
can't just
to
tell me right before we're going to go
victory.
live there's going to be a spelling bee. That's not going to end well for me.
Anyways, welcome into the newest episode of Nuts and Bolts, everyone. I'm Mike on the mic, joined with Tony Tucker with the Week 10 lopsided 0 background. Whoever designed that did a terrible job with that 10, Tony.
It could just be, let's just blame it on my green screen.
Okay, yeah. It's technical difficulties. It's warping it or something. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, man. Victory week. I mean, I didn't really feel like we won anything, but we did win the game, Tony. What were your thoughts? We'll talk about Dustin Hopkins and some more of the highlight players from the game, but what were your just overall thoughts of the game? It's got to be positive. We went on the road and still won a game in the NFL.
You went on the road, won a game, defensive backs missing. For whatever, I just want to thank the Eagles. Like, Nick Sirianni is dumb, and I don't think he's long for the NFL. When you are playing the worst rush defense in the league, don't go, oh, why didn't you run so much in the first quarter? Oh, well, we didn't get to that portion of our game script or our game plan. Coach, it should just be A. It should be 1A and 1B. And that's why did they come out with Jalen Hurts throwing the football? Doesn't matter. It made me happy. That's what as soon as I was like, wait, they're letting Jalen Hurts throw this much in the first quarter? I'll say this. I liked a lot of the stuff that we changed on the offensive side of the ball. We saw Keenan in the backfield again, and we're going to talk about the use of the tight ends, which is something that needs to be there. And then also just peppering Keenan with targets, catchable targets again. Here's the thing that I noticed. There's a little too much fire on some of Herbert's passes, and after Keenan runs the route, wins the route, and then he's open, he's then got to get his head and his hands around, and these balls are just coming in way too hot so it's like, it's more of like a timing connection. If you think about it, they've really only played like a season of football together between Keenan's injuries and a late start. It's like throw out a couple games because you need preseason together. Like, they've really only played like 15, 16 games together. So it's like, once they get on the same page with that, it's hopefully there's enough left in Keenan's body for it to be as dynamic as we think it can be.
Yeah, that was the one thing about Rivers. While those little loopy passes he would throw up were a little bit risky and led to, I think, a top 5 most interceptions of all time career, it also was very, 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 very receiver-friendly jump ball style of balls that are thrown up there. Not in tight windows. He never was firing in there at 90 miles per hour like Herbert is now. So I agree with you. There's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period there, but it was really good to see Keenan Allen have a signature Keenan game. And what I mean by a signature Keenan game, what's up, Omar? Welcome to the Chargers show. When I mean a signature Keenan game, I mean those 11 receptions, 103, 104, 115 yards. He doesn't even need the touchdown. Keenan used to do that every single week, and we're seeing it again there against the Eagles. You're talking about the tight ends. Let's talk about the tight ends a little bit here. Here's the tight end stat line combined for all 3 of them. I am very impressed by what this tight end room has done so far this year, especially in this game. And they're really emerging as one of Herbert's favorite go-to threats in the passing game. All 3 of these guys. And all 3 of these guys deserve credit. Even Anderson, who would technically be like the 3rd string tight end. And no, it's not going to be on the level of a Gates, Hunter Henry, but Parham and Anderson are developing nicely into guys that I want to see stay on the team for the future.
Yes, Anderson's so versatile, right? Like you see him line up as fullback and he comes out of the backfield, catches the touchdown. I think that Anderson's actually like pretty good, athletic. He's a good blocker. He's not afraid to do that stuff. Parham to me is still just sort of like red zone only. Like I never really see him do anything in the middle of the field. Like he needs to learn how to get open like Jared Cook is a bit, and maybe they just don't use him like that because they do have Jared Cook. So I don't know. It was nice to see Trey McKitty get on the field and throw some blocks. I was like, at least I know he's still on the team, and he's with us. So I like it because these are easy completions that we can use to get, closer to third downs. And if we're going to continue this bullshit of going for it on every fourth down, then these are players that I want to see getting the football. So I'm very encouraged by what I see using the tight ends.
100%. And it being a big part of the game plan, it's exciting to me to feel really comfortable with the depth there, to know that I think that all three of these guys, Anderson, of course, Cook, and Parham, can fill the tight end role every single week if we were ever missing the other guys. And I'm confident them all to kind of perform at a similar level in that spot for Justin Herbert when he needs them. The next thing we need to talk about, Tony, we hit a game-winning field goal. A game-winning field goal. I can't even remember the last time we hit a game-winning field goal, Tony.
I got one ball right here.
I got a second
game ball.
Give him all the game balls.
Mr. Dustin. D-Hop.
The only D-Hop.
I was so happy to see this because you have to win games like this. You have to allow your kicker to have these moments and feel these moments. And I never wanted them with Vizcaino. He's made some extra points. Again, this weekend, I think will be another big game where you're going to need some field goals. But just to see that you can trust him, that you can say, hey, we're going to run the clock down. We don't need to put the ball in the end zone like they did against the Chiefs. We don't need to mess around and get Austin Eckler thrown into the end zone by the Browns because they're like, oh, no, we're going to take knees. We're going to be smart. The run by Eckler was huge, right? To put us down in there a little bit closer, allow our sphincter to, expand and relax a little bit. But it was nice. And then I don't know, did you pull the post-game speech from Staley?
No, I did not pull it for this, but I think I posted it on the Instagram page.
Yes, it was a fantastic speech. It's exactly what I wanted to hear from the head coach, right? Which is like, 100%. You got to get in there and you got to rally. You got to rally the guys that you're going to need on this team. And the kicker is something that you have to be able to feel good about sending them out there for a 38-yard game-winning field goal. You just have to.
Mm-hmm. And to watch it go through the uprights, and it builds an entire confidence from the entire team in Dustin Hopkins for future situations like that. As a player on the field, if you know you can't make a field goal, when you send the kicker out in a situation like that, you just can't help but start preparing yourself for overtime, which is sad. You don't want to be preparing yourself for overtime when you got a 38-yard field goal to win the game. 38 yards in the NFL should be almost guaranteed. Minus a block, minus a shank, minus a bad snap.
Yeah, it should be, it's easy money. Like if you can't make 38 yards, you cannot kick in the NFL.
Exactly. I love it. And that post-game speech, Anthony Lynn was always really good on the mic. He was really good at talking to the team, talking to media, talking to everyone. But that speech from Staley, you can feel the players rallying around him. And as he's talking, they're all like kind of slowly inching closer to him. So then when he finishes it, obviously everyone can go crazy. And he kind of leaves with I just gave an amazing speech. And it's my first time as the head coach. Just want to remind y'all. See you guys on Monday.
Yeah, he got to do the see you guys on Wednesday thing. When you win, they get the extra day off and they're all excited about it. And I didn't say this in the opening, but when you go east and you play that, Oh, yeah, Omar distracted me with this BS here. Good news, Omar. I'm going to really enjoy the Bucks Packers in the NFC Championship game again. Because when you guys get knocked out in the first round with Colt McCoy at quarterback. I would say this. You have to travel east and get these victories.
Exactly.
We got it against the Washington football team. These are teams that if you're a playoff team, you should beat. There should be no letdowns. You can fly east and get slapped around by the Ravens. They're a real, I want to say they're a legit Super Bowl contender. And then I watched that BS against the Dolphins, and it's like, how did you lose to this team?
That's another one where I'm just screaming at my screen, why aren't you running the football? That's a game on Thursday night, short week against a defense that really just kind of has a good secondary. That's it. Like, go in there and pound the rock 45 times down their throat, but we won't talk about the Ravens. This is a good time to transition, though, to talk about Lamar possibly being an MVP race, maybe not anymore. Justin Herbert, I've seen it in multiple rankings now, is in the top 5. I think that he's like right there on the cusp of top 5 if I'm really judging it based off the numbers and everything that's going on. But Justin Herbert's having a phenomenal year, and I think we can go ahead and say he's not having a sophomore slump, ladies and gents. So all you haters out there, congratulations. You were dead wrong about that one. Tony, how pumped are you to see Herbert in the MVP conversations, man? This is awesome. I haven't seen this since Rivers' like best year of his career. That was one year that he was in the conversation.
Well, so it's a weird thing because the quarterback always gets like the most amount of praise or whatever it is. I don't think that I don't think that this team would be winning like with just anybody else, or like that they would have had as much success as they had last year if Tyrod Taylor would have got the starts or whatever. He's definitely in that top 5 conversation for me based on how things are playing out, because there's not a group of people that are sort of separating themselves. So as fans, or like you see people in the media, you're not really sure who to put in there. And nobody wants to go out on a limb and say, oh, for sure, this person's going to hit a stretch of games where they're going to distance themselves. But I'll say it right now, Herbert, based off last week, has a stretch of games coming up where he could rattle together 4 or 5 games and fully distance himself while the Chargers are winning. And then all of a sudden the Chargers are, I don't know, 9-3 or something. And he's standing far ahead of everybody else. Because that stinker that Lamar Jackson just put together, Kyler Murray's banged up. If you look at it, like the thing that made Kyler, his numbers and everything so impressive was all the rushing that he's not rushing the ball this year. And he shouldn't, because they need him to be healthy to win games. Aaron Rodgers missed a game and he's had low numbers. It's really like Tom Brady is way up there. He had a bad game right before the bye. I picked Brady before the season. I still think he's going to win it ultimately, just because the storyline is going to be so fantastic. But it's really wide open as to who can put together a middle chunk right now over the next 3-4 weeks and put a little distance between themselves, put their team at the top of Super Bowl conversations, and are they competitive and whatever. You already know how I feel about this Chargers team as far as being a legit Super Bowl contender. Unless Justin Jones and Lenval Joseph turn into, William. I'm trying to update my reference. Unless they turn into like
Vince Wilfork and who's the other guy there?
Thank you. I was like, everyone. I was going. I'm going to the 85 Bears in my head, and I'm like, he's not going to know these people. But yes, I think that Herbert has a legit shot, if you look at the schedule, over the next, including last week, 4 weeks, to really put together 20-plus touchdown passes with over 2,000 yards and say like, oh, hey, this kid's here. He's going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big deal. We saw what he did to the Browns defense. I think that their secondary is a little bit underrated because they're really not putting up the numbers this year. And I don't know what it is going on there, but they have cornerbacks. Like, you have a challenge there that you're facing. You see what he did against the Eagles this last week. They're not amazing defense, but they had Darius Slay in for most of that game. That guy can go out and cover a number 1 receiver still in this league, and he's raising to the occasion and just going off, absolutely going off. And it's insane that I'm in that Eagles group chat, the 302 Birds live chat. They have a show here. If you guys want to go watch it, they were way too positive about losing, but I guess that's just an Eagles fan thing. I'm usually pretty pissed when we lose, but they were really happy to lose. But I was in their chat and I asked like, what's their opinions on Justin Herbert, and one of them was like, he's all right. I don't know if he's gonna pan out to be what everyone thinks he is. I think he's overrated. There's people that just say that they don't actually watch Justin Herbert. No offense to Jack, I think his name is, but I put in the chat Herbert's stat line, and I had Dalton read it out. And Dalton read it out, and then I put the next message. That was like his 7th best game of his career so far.
Well, here's what I'll say about Jack. In that same show, Jack, who's an Eagles fan, said the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. What are you doing? You can't say that. Even if you think it, you bury that way down deep inside you.
Skip that entire topic before we talk about it. But it is exciting to see our guy Justin Herbert in his 2nd year in an MVP race, while the guys drafted around him. Joe Burrow's having a great year himself, but you see the struggles there. He's got a little bit of a turnover problem, and Tua is about to be out the starting lineup forever. He's about to be a career backup by the time the season ends. But the way that the Dolphins are treating him, Omar, we can't answer these questions on this show. I'm sorry. We're not going to talk about O.J. Simpson, but what we are going to talk about is this injury report, which is a little bit frightening. But I saw some news, and I saw a press conference with Brandon Staley that's a little bit more encouraging. Keenan Allen and Joey Bosa are both on the injury report this week. So both players a little bit scary to see them on injury report. They have not practiced this week. I think Bosa practiced early in the week and then was added and did not practice. But Brandon Staley says that both Allen and Bosa are players that are on the good side of that questionable tag. I believe Bosa has an ankle and Allen's a knee, and he expects both of them to play. So that's huge news just to hear Staley say that, because Staley has said in the past that he does err on the side of caution with injuries. So it may not be as serious as it seems with these guys not practicing. In the past, when guys don't practice like this, you just go ahead and start calling them doubtful almost. And then Michael Davis is going to miss the 2nd straight game. They've already announced that. He had a concussion a couple weeks ago, and he's still dealing with other injuries as well. Nasir Adderley returned to practice and is expected to play on Sunday. So we're going to be pretty healthy. Down Michael Davis, Asante Samuel Jr. is coming back. He's a full practice this week. We lost Ryan Smith, of course, to the ACL injury. I think we're going to be down Justin Jackson, but for the most part, the key players are going to be out on the field. For the Vikings, Anthony Barr's been dealing with injuries this whole season again. He's not playing. Rashad Breeland is questionable to play. He's one of their better corners, and Michael Pierce is already ruled out of the game as well with an elbow injury. Tony, injury report. Any thoughts? Are you terrified that the last-minute scratch of Joey Bosa may absolutely kill us in this game? They are down Danielle Hunter as well. Drew Tranquil's out. He got COVID.
Yeah, I saw that. I just hope that it doesn't spread more in whatever linebacker rooms or whatever. I'll say this. I think we need to start adding Michael Davis to our key, our significant players, right? Like the ones that we have a little bit more fear about. I'm worried, especially in a game where you have Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Like, he's been playing really well. He's one of my favorite players to watch. I think he competes at a level where it's like, oh man, it's so underrated. And if you could string together a full season, you probably get great PFF grades. You know, like, he's locking up with the Wallers and the Kelseys and the top players on the other team, so that Derwin can really have more of an effect. Like, he can sort of use his instincts and his athletic ability to go make tackles and interceptions and whatever else. Michael Davis allows him to do that. So it takes away from some of the effectiveness of what the defense can do. I mean, this is obviously somebody who doesn't know as much football as not even you, Michael, like on that side of the ball. I think that there's a lot of injuries on the Vikings that kind of give me a little bit of, like, Anthony Barr being out. Great linebacker, very underrated player. Like, the Vikings always seem to have players like an Anthony Barr that are very underrated.
Yeah. Anthony Barr's a guy that they probably would use, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, to kind of bracket Eckler a little bit. So that gives Eckler some more freedom.
Yeah. The Peterson, why am I blanking on his name? The guy who came from Arizona is on the injured reserve. The DB from Arizona.
Patrick Peterson?
Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, he's down. He's out. Yeah.
Their
defense is going to be soft.
Breland might not be, a full go for this game. So I like the opportunities for our wide receivers if that's the case. I was listening to something else where they were talking about there's another safety injury that might be have somebody like a little hampered. So it's like there's opportunities in this passing game and this running game, and the injuries, like with the Bosa thing, I think it might be kind of nice to not have Bosa for one game and just see, hang on, hear me out. Just see if these other players are like, oh shit, we really need to step up. Because there's something to be said that like, if you can't beat a one-on-one when the guy on the other side is getting two players and a chip from the running back, like, you then need to say, hey, this guy's down and we have to get pressure. We have to figure it out. Now, and then it gives you a little bit of confidence. You can go back into the room and say, Tillery, look at what you did here. Nwosu, look how you came off the outside. Like, Kaiser, look how you made this, this read, this play, this instinct. Like, sometimes you have to be without your best to realize what your best can be from other players. Now, I don't love it, but I'm just trying to sprinkle a little bit of, sugar on top of this pile of shit if Bosa's not in the game.
This is why we're such a good duo here as Chargers fans, Tony. You take care of the mental aspect of this. You talk about it from like, how do we build these guys' confidence? How do we rally these guys? Which is super important in the sport of football. And I'm going to tell you, I really want Bosa to play. I do not want Chris Rumph rushing off the edge on Sunday. I do think that this game is very, very much like, and this is a good time to transition to the X Factor. They need to go back and look at that Browns game and prepare for this game. It's the opposite of the way they prepared for that on defense on the Browns, because the Browns absolutely took care of business and dominated us, and they have the running backs to do it. And the Vikings offensive line isn't on the same level as the Cleveland Browns, but with the injuries that the Browns were suffering, it may be kind of close. And we could easily see another 250-yard game. Now, on the flip side, the offense is going to be going against a soft defense. I expect 40 points tomorrow. I'll be at the game again. I have like flashbacks. This game is going to be very similar to that Browns game. I'm even sitting almost in the same section. We need to do what we did on offense in that Browns game to have a chance in this one. But the defense especially has to buckle down. We may see a little bit more passing, but I see Mike Zimmer being smart. I don't see him doing what the Eagles did. I see him coming out and pounding the ball. And if we don't stop him in the first half, he's going to continue it into the third and fourth quarter, which is just going to get worse with Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison. And this is a week where I almost consider like playing Alexander Mattison as a backup running back.
Which I have in a couple. I have Cook and Madison in a couple of leagues. My thing with the run game is, how do we got to be able to get to the fourth quarter and have a lead. We need to be the team that says like, hey, you guys need to be questioning about whether or not you have the, like, can you guys afford to run? Like I know it's been effective for you this far, but you got to get to the fourth quarter so that we can turn around and put the ball in the belly of Kelly. That was not supposed to rhyme. Eckler, whoever else, like whatever other backs are healthy and out there. Roundtree contributing. Shit, neighbors. I don't care. Like putting it in the hands of our ball carriers. So like we need to get to the fourth quarter. They're going to have success running the football in the first half and even into but they have to get into the red zone and score touchdowns, get up and make the Vikings play from behind and not be able to just say, oh, hey, we're up 7. We're up 4 points. We're just going to keep handing the ball to Dalvin Cook in the fourth quarter, and he's going to keep getting 6-8 yards and turning over the chains and everything like that. So how do we get to that point where our running game is the thing that needs to be feared in the fourth quarter of this game against a team that Dalvin Cook really hasn't had one of those games yet this year? That's what scares me. He hasn't had one of those games where you look down and you're like, oh, who's Cook running? He's got 186 yards. It's the third quarter. And they put in Madison, he hasn't had one of those games. He's very capable of it. I don't want it to be this weekend.
100% capable of it. And if you go and look at some of the games he put up last year and the year before, you'll be like, holy crap, This guy is not what he is this year. It's a big difference. And it's just been misfortune for him. And the Vikings are just a weird team, Tony. They can show up and look like a Super Bowl contender, but they also can show up and lose to Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. Like, this team is so weird. You don't know what you're going to get every single week. They're so inconsistent. We should win this game still.
Yeah.
We should win this game still. We still have a better team than them. I think we have a better offense than them, even with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And like I said, looking back at that Browns game a lot, because that's what this reminds me of the matchup-wise, that was Herbert's best career game. Herbert, they were running the ball on us in the third and fourth quarter, like you're saying, because they were up. And Herbert just absolutely, that's the first game of his career so far where he just took over and the coaches let him just completely take over the game. And we need him to do that again this week, I think. We need him to do that again. At least some form of that again. Before that Saints game last year was my favorite Herbert game, but that Browns game is my favorite Herbert game of his career so far.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, 5 tubs, right? 4 passing, 1 rushing. It was insane.
Yeah. Well, it was the second Raiders game last year.
That was fun too. That was a good one.
It was also like another big, because it's such a rivalry there. I think that in this game against the Vikings, they should dominate a depleted team, Vikings defense, right? They really should be able to do whatever they want with this much talent on the offensive side of the ball. It's at this point where, how do you get to a situation where you can help out your rush defense? You need healthy bodies in the secondary that says, like, can you put Derwin James on Justin Jefferson in the fourth quarter and just say, like, we're shutting this shit down right here. Like, you're going to have to go to Adam Thielen, who's now in man coverage on Asante Samuel. Oh, you want to move the ball? You got to look for Conklin over the middle. Yeah. I don't know if Kenneth Murray's going to play. I know he was back at practice, but I can't wait to get him.
He's set to play. I think he's gonna come off the edge for most of the game. So he might be the fill-in for Bosa. That might be their emergency plan. But him and Bosa and Rumpf and Fackrell are going to be kind of edge rushers, it seems like now, which is interesting. I don't know how much I expect out of K9 right out the jump, but I will say this: our containment issues, which kind of showed a little bit more with Jalen Hurts, those things can be solved. K9 will be a good contained edge rusher at the minimum. That guy's got wheels. He can run a 4.4.
Chris Rumpf, sack fumble this weekend.
Yeah, let's do this.
I want a text message from you.
I could talk all day. Yeah, you'll get a text message and a video. I could talk about the Chargers all day, nonstop. Tony, score prediction. What are you thinking? And maybe if you want to throw some players' names out there, other than Chris Rumpf, obviously with his strip fumble sack.
Yes, I am going with a high-scoring game in this. I am going 38-34. Like, I'm really hoping that it's like 38-26 and they're scoring in garbage time, sort of like letting them dink and dunk down the field until they can get in, and having to kick an onside or something like that. But I'm going to go 38-34 final, like just a massive amount of points in this game, obviously. The player that I think has a really nice week, I'm going to Mike Williams, where he's going for about 140, 8 catches, and a touchdown in this game. I just think that if you got to worry about having your one healthy guy on Keenan, they're going to put Mike in situations to make plays and make catches and use his size. So I'm going to go with Mike Will having a big game.
Yeah. And Tony, I always have way too much confidence in the Chargers, and I should have confidence in the Chargers. And I said 40 points this game. I want to see it. 41-28 Chargers take it in a 2-possession game. Maybe there's like a ceiling. Like, it's a close game, 1 possession the entire time. Chargers get the ball back with 5 minutes left in the game. And they go on a game-sealing touchdown drive. That's kind of what I'm calling for in this game. And the player that I want to highlight is also going to be Mike Williams. Promise you. It was in my head already. And I have a similar stat line. So I'll just agree with you on the stat line. I think he pops off a big play. I think he gets a 60-yard or one of those 50-yard touchdown catches.
Yeah, I definitely see them taking advantage, winning, abusing a banged-up secondary. And I think that Joe Lombardi needs to continue to say, like, hey, I can trust this kid. Like, let's just continue to add wrinkles, continue to add things. I think that this is also a great Josh Palmer opportunity to get out here and use the kid's ability. I don't understand the idea of saying, like, oh, we're only going to use him on a couple of plays or looks a game. He's better than Jalen Guyton is now. I get that Guyton has earned the playing time and he's been out there and whatever. Josh Palmer should be getting 3-4 targets a game, like every week. And let's let him run down. He's got young legs. Let's let this kid run some go routes.
100%. I think that they're going to start getting him a little bit more involved, especially after seeing what he's done the last couple of weeks. He's looked really, 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 really good. The door cracked open, Joe Lombardi, with the offense. You guys opened it up a little bit. You kind of went back to what we were doing before. Now here against Minnesota, we need to just bust that thing open. Don't even worry about the run defense. So I'm starting to think that the little snag that we had there was because they're trying to control the ball so much to keep our run defense off the field that it's almost like securing the offense from taking any kind of risk or deep shots because they're so afraid of handing the ball back. Well, what you're doing is you're just setting up 3 and outs or 6, 7 and outs because you can't freaking move the ball being so conservative. So it's a little bit open. Understand that the run defense is going to give up runs. Just keep slinging it. We got the depth. We got the guys to do it, man. Any last words, Tony? I'm going to hit this music and we're going to get out of here with a victory on tomorrow, Sunday. It's Saturday. It's weird being Saturday doing the show.
It is. No, I'm gonna save it for another week. But I have another prediction. But let's bolt up. Let's get out of here. Let's get this victory and 6-3.
Bolt up, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on. If you're at the game and you see me walking by, just yell at me. All right. Bolt up.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.